The guy has the dog. Okay. So as soon as he comes up with the dog, now watch, he'll go around the other way.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 and 7.
Well, like, I'm out of here. They don't see me, like, oh, the dog's
But did you notice the dog didn't get on that cat at all?
very subtle.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is about how that. And it's kind of nice, you know, that it's looking for that. If you sound bad, then you want.
Well, they eventually knocked on the door and asked if they could take the dog to the backyard.
But they were.
They were looking for someone that was jumping fences to people's backyards. It still is a little odd. It's just a little weird being woken up like that.
You know, I do have mine on fire tonight, and I probably shouldn't, but I don't want to keep getting every time I cat or something once I pass on the people up on it. But that's a great.
Somebody's coming up to your door.
I would need to know.
Yeah.
And that, with all of us are signing that, and then we're gonna send that to the family. To let them know that we did that, so.
Bob, I don't know if I told you, you remember, Dick Lynch, the former board member,
Yes.
his wife passed away last week.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Very unexpectedly.
Well, that's terrible.
Mhm.
It was.
I haven't seen anything in the press. I'm sorry. They're gonna put anything in. I looked,
His services
I
are
think this
Saturday.
morning, and I looked yesterday, and I've seen nothing. And I looked like over at Atchison and Graham and we were and it seemed like he was flooded.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, service. The people were not.
You would think so.
How's it raining there, Bob?
Cats and dogs. It is really coming down, and it has been for about 8 straight hours, just pouring.
It was a beautiful sunny day here.
Was it? No such luck here.
53 degrees out, you know.
Yeah, best day we've had in a long time. My husband's like, how did it get so beautiful? And I said, well, this is what it usually is.
I'm jealous.
Tomorrow we're supposed to
Just-
get rain. I don't know.
Just don't go up into the mountains. Huh.
Yeah, the mountain is pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're still stuck in the mountains. She says they're quite often.
People that come pass way up there.
We
Yep.
opened the door just to find out if everybody's okay. It's beautiful to live there, but.
I was talking about. Yeah.
There was one woman up there, they found her house. And she had passed, and they had already done one call, but then the power went out, so she was no phones. When they went there, they said the snow had completely covered her house, like there was like nothing showing. But they said she didn't freeze to death, and I'm wondering if she suffocated, was carbon monoxide poison. There was no air getting in the house.
Think, what if she didn't have a chimney or?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No.
If you don't mind, then you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, but if you don't have to, there's also an agenda there if you'd like to grab one of those.
Yeah, it's true. We have those vents on our roof for a reason.
Right, but if it's completely snowed over, they said her house was completely covered.
Wow.
That's scary.
You know, if you can't crack a window and get a broomstick and poke a hole, because you don't need much to get fresh air. You just need
Right.
a way to get some oxygen in the house. So,
What do you think is gonna happen when it starts melting?
Oh, yeah, it'll be flooding. All the water comes to the Santa Ana River.
yeah, I have seen that river so full, it took out the golf course over there at, what's the golf course along the 91?
Oh, Green River.
Green River. It took out 2 holes on Green River one year.
I remember that. Yeah.
But it was like it was in the 80s something, wasn't it?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Something. 90 something, late 90s.
90s, yeah.
According to the meeting I went to, if you remember, 2005 was when the river took that dog leg and took out part of County Parks's where they put equipment and stuff there along Riverview, and then it caused that one house to fall into the river a little further down. That was in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, you could go down Peralta and you were looking straight at a river flowing towards you. And it's like, okay, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It just dog leg and then it's crazy. But they mentioned that I went to the meeting on Tuesday night, had to do with flood and blah, blah, blah. They mentioned 2005 as being a significant year. And I'm like, I was wondering what year that was because I didn't remember.
When was it? I was in the city. There was a big flood down there. They couldn't get money to fix the Murrieta Creek, but it flooded and went all the way out and took out like 5 Apache helicopters at Pendleton. Oh, now we need money to fix the creek.
That was important to us.
Yeah. Give that for just a moment. If not, we will
Keep on going.
keep on trucking.
I've never seen you guys so quiet. I thought maybe
Yeah,
it wasn't working or something.
Something to talk about. Sorry, Bob. I bet that's
I
it.
guess that answered my question.
Is it working? Is the audio working?
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting for March 9th, 2023, Group Area Recreation Park District, the directors meeting to order at 6:31. And if everyone please stand, and everybody can still flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We can have roll call, please. Division 1, Kim Gerald Johnson. Here. Division 2, Jose Luis Godino.
Present.
Division 3, Rebecca Redor Burr. Present. Division 4, Edgar Castellan.
Present.
Division 5, Ross Lacia.
Here.
Are there any presentations or recognitions, Mr. Caboon?
None this evening.
Okay. Do we have any public comments on items that are not on our agenda tonight?
Nope.
Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have any questions on the consent calendar or any items you want to pull?
I move to approve the consent calendar.
All second.
Okay. All those in favor? With the second reading of the ordinance. Okay, then let's do the vote. Ross Lacia,
Yes.
Rebecca Redor Burr,
Yes.
Jose Luis Godino,
Yes.
and Gerald Johnson. Aye. Edgar Castellan.
Yes.
Great, now we move on to item 5.1, workshop on mobile stage options. Mr. DeWitt.
Yes. You submit somebody here on the website. All right, yes, thank you, Madam President. As the board recalls, during our goal setting workshop back in January, one of the things that was discussed was a mobile stage for upcoming events and activities. We have asked Molly Bailey, our new recreation coordinator for special events, to do some research on it, and she has found out far more about stages, I think, than I either of us ever want to know. And she put together a little PowerPoint for the board, just so we can gather more information from the board.
if it's something we truly want to pursue, so we can start a bid process. Because one of the things we have learned is there could be a significantly long lead time as well. So I'm gonna turn it over to Molly. Oh, wait. Did you get your tab?
Yeah.
I want to make this go. Too many things open up here. What's going on? That work for you?
That works. I'll just go back with the,
Oh,
or
sorry.
I'll have to grab the mouse too.
Yeah,
That's all.
Molly likes to use Canvas, so.
Yeah, we
We
can,
can figure some things out here.
yeah, as long as it's
I
on.
feel like you're doing sequels.
All right, so, if you look at other, districts and cities around, this area, both in Orange, LA and Riverside.
Now can you hear us?
Now I can hear you.
Wonderful.
There we go.
All right, let's go back over here and this on the large screen here. All right, can we still, everybody still with us?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so the mobile stage, it's something that, you know, when I came here, I was kind of tasked with getting some options for this. And it's something a lot of cities and districts do have in Los Angeles, Orange, and Riverside counties. So I just want to briefly show some options, and there's some videos too, because you know, picture speaks 1,000 words for mobility, the size, and also the time it takes to set up the labor. So the first option is $64,000. It's through Astera Stages. It doesn't have any accessibility for lifting supplies or disabled or handicapped or differently abled persons. It is in stock right now, but it doesn't include any native power to actually lift the arbors, the roof. You have to either crank it or plug it into a power or recharge the battery. So that's that kind of like $64,000 price point. It is in stock right now. They do have them available right now to purchase and to receive. It's a smaller footprint. Though the stage itself is a 16 by 20, but it actually breaks down into a more narrow, compact tow rig that can go into even garages. The next one, kind of in the middle, we have the stage by Stage Line. It's a Canadian company. It's a hydraulic push button lift, hydraulic push button setup. It does have an ADA lift. It comes with an LED lighting package. It has 115 mile per hour wind rating. Right now, that one's at a 9-month lead time. So it comes with everything you see there, plus banners, you know, mesh banners around the top, around the side, the skirting. And what's great about this stage is you can add any compatible Versa deck, which is a commonly rented deck that has like a rotolap pin to attach it. So you can actually span that beyond the 16 by 20 footprint. If we for our larger events like 3rd of July, you know, and later other events we add. So for Concert of the Park, smaller things, we would, you know, keep it at the 16 by 20. And this is something we want to take to every event. Like if we had it for Spring Fling, it would be there now. So we to our class of performances there instead of on, you know, an as built stage that would be on the ground. The last option is a really cool mobile. It's completely push button. So the sides don't, and you'll see in the video in a second here, the sides, when they fold down, they don't need any human interaction. The feet level themselves out. The arbors raise by themselves. The wings also, like they span out by themselves. That one does include an ADA lift, lighting package. And that one's a little less beefy on the wind rating. To me, the 150 mile wind rating is great for, you know, a valley that has great winds. So move on and I'll show you. This is the first one just to see the
I'm not
gonna
gonna
skip
watch this
through it.
whole video, 'cause
No.
it's very long, but we want you to understand the labor intensive versus.
And the safety concerns as well. Some of these,
outward enough to allow this outward. These sides may want
so
to
it shows the
rotate
compact
outward
side
on their own.
right there.
Remove any cargo stored within the stage, stairs, handrails, guardrails, and the like.
Require us to bring up.
On one side,
that.
move the telescoping tubing outward to where the floor tools can be inserted.
Skip
Tubing.
through this, so you can see.
Pull the stage out.
This floor extension is at an angle relative to the main stage floor. Rotate the floor tool lever outward. This will lower the floor extension into place. Remove the floor tools and insert the clevis pins that were removed in step 6. Clevis pins should be inserted as such that the telescoping tubing cannot move further outward. Attach the 3 remaining drop leg jacks to the underside of the floor extension and level the floor extension. Repeat this process on the other 3 corners of the stage trailer.
Get back in. You know, it's like. Getting wise pounded.
Remove and store the corner tower hangers. Both front and back switches to begin raising the roof. Or upward.
One side goes up, back.
Finally, continue raising the roof until the lock bar for the scissors moves downward
Right here.
to a horizontal position.
It's,
Rotate the switch,
They actually say-
rest on the clevis pin. Rotate any given inner corner tower with the clevis pin to align the clevis pin to the clevis pin in the tube directly below the stage. Clevis pins to secure the corner tower coupler to the stage and the corner tower.
Like installing, this is like.
Rotate the battery switch to disconnect the batteries. Close and lock the control box. In the lower hole. Using snaps, install the skirt at the front of the stage. Would like to install your stairs. Then insert the stair top in.
So that's the Astra LP 2016. Easy, it's a electric winch driven stage and it has a built-in battery charger that you can plug this thing. You could drive in, the pluses are you can drive into garage and plug into a wall outlet to charge it. That's the plus of this one. And the trailer height is 6 foot 8 inches, so it can fit in any small space. That's its pluses, that it's so compact, but part of the negatives to being so compact is that it has to be built every time, little small pieces.
We're not gaining. All we're gaining is some height.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What you gain in compatibility, you lose in the fact that you have to break it down. So this is also a 16x20 stage. This has a partially hydraulic assembly. This has an option to have an accessibility lift. This price is quoted out with the full LED package that we can plug and play and go. This has 115 mile per hour wind rating, and this is around a 9-month lead time right now. And they recommended for, would be our sweet spot, crowds between 500 and 2,000 people. And you can hang your sound stacks on there and everything, but
Is it just quiet or am I not hearing?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
this is complete hydraulic. This one has a larger lead time here. This doesn't even have columns in the corners, so it eliminates your sight lines, and it has provides all these no sight lines at all. So the other ones had like truss or those vertical supports right there. This doesn't have it.
This is the Cadillac.
Yeah, and I'm gonna skip through the second part because this is the junior version, but we're looking at this version here. There's no sound to this video. But then if you have something that's completely automated like this, could have breakdowns, electrical issues, So there's good and bad side to everything. But this one is truly push button. That's all you have to do. And then you have another button that levels out the feed. So that's that one. That's why it's
Level feet, you raise the roof.
that's it. You have two things and just go around and make sure everything's safe and plug it in.
This one says only rated 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's the issue.
When you look at that, I think that seems a little low. I have a feeling that may be something in research, but
Yeah.
Do all three provide training?
Yes, they someone for there is the delivery fee, which is included in this. There's also, I think it's a couple $100 more for someone to come out from the company and train you. Yeah. And we're looking into, there are local companies here that actually have this unit available for us to rent and try out, and they have their team would be coming and putting it together for us. So that's something we're looking into having for the concerts of the park, is renting a stage line, a Cell 75, that exact same model. So we have that experience and we can watch the teams that are local do it.
That's the $65,000 one.
No, that's this one, the 125.
yeah, it's actually a company in Riverside that rents these. That's their
okay.
business.
Mhm.
And you said this was a 9-month lead time. What was the lead time on the Cadillac one?
That's 18 months. That was a couple weeks ago. Maybe, it could have improved or someone dropped off the list, but I doubt it. And they'd love to send me lists of all different cities and districts that have purchased it. They're like, oh, these are City of Roseby just got one, it's their kind of.
It seems to be most people are buying either the stage line or the Century.
Century is a company that sells these
Yeah.
front rows.
If you guys recall, we've rented the one from JCSD a number of times now. It's made by a company called Wagner. They have discontinued the product. They're no longer selling it. That was when we first started the process about 6-8 months ago, we had talked to them. Their smaller version, they had stopped making. They only had the bigger one like JCSD has. And then now they have discontinued that as well.
It's okay because it's a little bit of clamshell and the wind on that. Yeah, it's a back wall.
So one thing you'll notice on these ones, again, going back to look at the JCSD one, it has the back wall that's there. None of these have it. That's actually improvement. You don't get that echo off of it. And talking with some different sound techs and stuff over the period of time, they've all kind of frowned away from that because of that back wall. It just affects your sound. I never noticed it when we've used it in the past, but I understand how it could be a challenge. So
what's the cost to rent this to check it out?
It's around $3,000 for one show.
I think you prefaced this viewing as all that you wanted to know, and maybe didn't want to know. I, for one, am amazed of your research. Thank you so much. That clearly, for a layperson like me, would say, and you made a good point, and I think it's the point that's staying with me, and that would be our staff. And we have young people. And, not to say that that's not a good thing. But I think this is a little intricate, and when I look at safety side, which again, never thought of these things, you brought them to mind. So even whatever the pricing is, and I think that Ross had mentioned this, you had one before, and what that might have been concern of yours about how you transport it and this and that. But I guess the weighing out for me in my mind, whether we should go forward with this, is again, how many events would it really cover? Because right now, what's holding me back from saying yay to this is what you may mention, that the personnel that we have to put this together, whether it be a button or not, tends to tell me that we could very potentially have accidents with it.
And it would be something that myself or another recreation coordinator would be doing and.
Yeah, we have key staff that are gonna be trained in it.
It wouldn't be anything that staff members and moving forward, it's from attending all of the events and being at all the events, because, before there wasn't a person dedicated to that, so. And I
That's
read the
true.
trailers. Huh?
That's true too.
Yeah, we were a little bit, on the thin side, but now that I can be at all the events and myself and other, recreation coordinators could be trained on it. So,
And making
Valid
great step as well, yeah.
maintenance as well, yeah, but valid principle safety.
Well, I thought the price tag at 100,000, which I thought that's where the beginning was. Now it seems a little more expensive, even at that.
What's the warranty package on these?
I have all the spec sheets with the warranty policy. I can go pull those.
Because we're talking about electronics and hydraulics and things. So
Yeah, structure was like 10 or 20 years, I want to say. The electrical was 3 to 5, depending on the one I want to say. I don't know. I don't want to quote them for sure. But just like, your vehicle, your drivetrain's less than your frame, versus rust and stuff.
It's only 3 years now. I drive through with
Yeah.
vehicles.
But they're saying the lifespan on these is about 25 years.
when I think of hydraulic systems, and I work a lot with hydraulic systems at my job, and they love to give you these long guarantees, and the reality is they're gonna break down within 2 years.
I need service.
And they're gonna need some kind of service within 2 years. Because what happens is they'll tell you, you have to change the fluids annually, you have to do this, you have to do that, and it never gets done. And then that's when things break down, seals break down, hoses break down. There's a lot of parts with hydraulics. And they're always expensive. So while I think it's definitely an advantage to have a push button system, I just want to make sure that, we're prepared for what's coming down the road.
Well, and that's, I think, one of the things why, the stage line, I think, is the one, if we take it forward, is you got the baby bear, the papa bear, just right type of deal. It's only got the one compared to, the first one to me is just too much labor intensive for setting, too many opportunities for a problem. And while the push button system on the big one is nice, it's too many things to go wrong. So there's a give and take on everything.
Okay, the thing I'm confused about is surely there are more stages than these 3 in existence in America.
There's about 2 others from Apex. They're similar to the stage line. They just didn't have as many options in the high wind rating. So these are kind of like the 3 best winners. Apex is like the American version.
And we're not saying,
Yeah.
we're not saying that the stage line is what we would buy. We couldn't even technically spec it that way. We'd have to go out for a bid and find something this or comparable. And then we would have to evaluate if somebody came in with an add-on. It's like when you're buying a vehicle, you cannot specify I'm buying a Ford. You go out to bid, you take I want a half-ton truck, this wheelbase, V8 engine, blah, 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 blah. And you may use the Ford spec or the Chevy spec, and if Dodge or somebody, you have to look at it, and then you have to disqualify it or accept it as an alternate. We'd have to do the same thing.
Well, I think I'm in agreement with Rebecca in that right now I feel we need a better understanding of exactly how many events we'd be using it at. I'm also concerned about, I understand that we're going to have a limited number of people, but look, I've worked in offices where no one but 3 people were allowed to use the Xerox machine because every time 10 people touched it, it broke. And so that concerns me. This would be one of the most complicated things we own. The other thing is that the hydraulic lift sounds great. And of course it has to have ADA accessibility, but there's more than one way to have ADA accessibility besides what is, for all intents and purposes, an elevator. And I don't know that we want to deal with an elevator. Again, it's just something else that can break. There could be
The problem is we have to have.
you have other ways that I would think that could have.
No, it could be a ramp.
Correct.
You have to have a ADA accessible
Yes.
path.
So that doesn't have to be included, we can, that's just an option.
That's what I'm saying. There are other ways besides a hydraulic lift to have ADA accessibility. That's what I was trying to say.
My problem with not using the elevator for ADA accessibility, using a ramp, is you're talking about a 20 by 16 stage. And depending on the height off the ground, ADA rules say you can only have so much incline per foot. And are we gonna wrap the whole stage before we,
But
have
we
the
don't
right?
have that information in front of us and we don't
Right.
know what the case would be. So I'm just saying, so it's to me, the other thing is I think that perhaps staff needs to go back and develop the list of what they would like in a stage, because right now we don't have that. It has to be towable with an existing vehicle that we have. It has to have this, it has to have that, blah, blah, blah. So I think we need to understand that better. And I need to understand how many events we're going to use it at. And I don't want something that is, because to me, even the easiest one looked a little complicated. And I don't want it to turn into, it's just not worth it. We're not going to use it for concerts in the park, or we're not going to use it here. We're not going to use it there. Talked about the ongoing maintenance, who's going to be in charge of that, so that when we do want to use it, it's actually usable. I think we need to have all of these things figured out. And it's not that I'm against it, but these are concerns that I have. I don't want to pay $125,000 for something we put out twice a year. And I also don't want to pay $125,000 for something and then we go to use it and it's not usable. Oopsie. So that's the other thing, is staff's going to have to take it out, open it up, check it out every time we want to use it, because otherwise it's unusable.
Right, and this is 6,800 pounds, so probably gonna be at least a 3/4 ton truck.
These are all able to be towed by a 2500 or F250, like in all the specs of these ones.
Or a 250
Technically, we told by the
Yeah.
150, it's within their range, but we have a variety between half ton, 3/4, 1 ton vehicles available to us, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, I agree, but as far as the amount of events, I can't think of too many events we couldn't use it at. You're talking 5+ concert in the parks, the spectacular food fest, we could roll it out. I mean, I just can't think of too many events that we do that you could not use the stage at.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Food Fest. That's not our event.
I realize that, but think of the rental fee.
That would have to be the case. They
So,
would have to-
we didn't even touch on that. There is the ability to rent it. There's pros and cons, obviously. Pros is its potential revenue. Cons are its wear and tear. Those are something we'd have to approach down the line. We've reached out to even JCSD about using their stage for our conference in the park, and they're not renting it out during the weekend because they don't have the staff. They have their maintenance department do it. We pay overtime to them to do it. They don't have the staff to do it right now. They're claiming.
I think Mr. Castellan has.
You said you were gonna rent out one right from another agency to kind of scope it out.
That's what we're
So I
considering.
think some of these questions that have been asked will kind of get a sense of what it is through that process, correct?
Well, and one thing I think we can do is we can talk to, I can't think of the name of the company right now in Riverside. And he's been,
Big Bear Auto.
Yeah.
Audio.
he's really kind of a West Coast salesman for the company, almost like Pseudo. And we need to get some information on the maintenance, but then we also got a list from the cities that have these and call and talk to them and find out what problems have you had. And maybe we go and take a trip to when they're gonna set their stage up for an event and just sit back and watch.
Corona, Rosie, and
Yeah.
the big list.
There's a number of them that are local to us.
I mean, I don't think we have a rush, because at this point, other than the first one, which we're a little iffy on whether we want it or not, we can't get any of these before July 3rd. So,
Yeah.
so I don't think we should have to rush into it.
No, but it's still a long process and we wanted input from the board just to make sure that we're at least not spinning our wheels, wasting our time. So I think, we have some information that we need to get more on. We need to look at the ramp issue versus the lift issue for ADA. It's just something we have to have. It's just, as Mr. Lazier referred to, we have to have an ADA ramp. We have the stage at Skyview. we really have to put it out if they need the ADA ramp, but when we do, it takes up the whole front of the building. It's a huge, and it's only 18 inches off the ground,
And this is
so
gonna be 4
we're
foot.
at 3 and 4 foot, you're
Right,
talking, like you
that's
said.
in my thought, you're gonna have something that's gonna start at the one side, go all the way around, all around the back, and come up in the front on the other side, just to hopefully match what ADA rules are.
Or you can have
And
one on
at
the
that
side.
point, the elevators,
I'm sorry,
You can have one on the side that does this. That's a zigzag.
yeah, exactly,
It doesn't have
oh,
a
that's
ramp all the
true.
way around.
But,
yeah, you're,
right, but we're not just gonna have a ramp in one
but
area.
I think what the issue, the staff concern on that is now it's labor intensive to put that together. That's what we're trying
And
to.
again, that's why we've got to have a whole discussion about the number of times you're going to use it, what we're going to use it for. You know, the staff, time and effort to put it up, take it down, maintain it every time we're going to use it. I think we need to have a better understanding of all of these things.
Well, if the rental's $3,000, right?
Mhm.
Once we use it 42 times. Pay for itself. In a sense.
Right. Thank
That's
you.
what I'm
was just
saying.
trying to figure
You know,
that
if
out.
we could come
But
up
if we
with,
use it 10 times a year, that's,
right, 10 to
Yeah,
12
2.5
times a
years.
year.
but if we use it 5 times a year, 6 times a year, I mean, it just all depends. I'd like to understand from these other cities also, what is the cost of their maintenance? Like he was talking about the whole hydraulic system. What have you done about,
And the electronics are fairly easy. It's just wiring and stuff and, you know, few relays and things. I mean, I can see where that would be relatively inexpensive to maintain.
But
I-
you blow a CO on the main.
Yeah, I have looked at hydraulics. I know what it costs to get cylinders rebuilt, repaired and everything, and hydraulics to maintain. If you maintain it properly from the beginning, they will last really well and take care of themselves really well. If you start having issues with them and you have to replace things, I know a 3,000 PSI hose that's less than 10 feet long can cost up to $500 to replace. You know.
that's just the cost of the.
That's just the cost of the hose. That's not, you know, so where I agree, I like the hydraulics as far as function goes. I don't like the first one. I think it's too many chance for someone to slip on, hurt themselves, too much labor intensive. I just want to make sure that we do look at somebody else's maintenance program and what the suggested maintenance program is, that we have the people qualified to perform it.
Yeah, and if we're gonna go back to the drawing board, as we're suggesting here, I'd like to see if you, and I'm sure you can do this, Molly, find out what the safety has been, you know, what occurrences they have, because if we're, you know, comparing apples to apples, we should be saying, well, that is what we can anticipate. Because truly, that is seems to be in my bigger concern, whether we get a return for $1, I'm sure, according to numbers, but safety end just still strikes me as something that I would like to know a little bit more information on.
Sure. And where would we store?
That's the kind of the $1 million question. We've had some brief discussions with both the school district and the city, and they would both be entertain an idea allowing us to store it in their secure facilities. You know, and as a trade out for an event type of a year, which I think is more than fair if they need to use it for something.
Cities seems to have better storage, more secure.
But then again, we'd have to restrict them to only using our people because now.
No, you're correct. You're correct. I think that's something, you know, we have a good relationship with those agencies that we can look into. You know, we have the locations to store it, but they're just not nearly as secure.
No.
You know, and then we've had so many discussions on this as of late. The vandalism and theft that the district is incurring right now, it's nothing unique to us, but it's quite costly.
Well, I feel comfortable, Molly, in terms of, as we've asked all these different questions, it's almost as if we've anticipated these questions. So whether it's be to your background or just the fact that you're researching it also, I really do think that going back to the drawing board just a bit much and kind of taking everything that we've said today as something that you might come back to us with.
Yes, Molly, I think one of the things we need to talk to these users about. One of the things, I completely agree with Ross's comments about the maintenance and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Our biggest issue has been theft. How secure are these that somebody couldn't come in and steal hydraulic lines or steal You know, what wiring is that they can steal, like how hidden, built-in, secure is it within a system? Or is it just a cheap tin plate that they're gonna rip off and?
Oh, that's a good point.
And to that point, the cost and availability of parts, for the function.
Correct.
Yeah, and if the city does maintain it on their own, or do they bring someone in to maintain it, or something they're able to have their own maintenance?
Yeah, so they offer a service plan.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, how often do they use it? A city who uses it 5 times a year is not gonna have nearly the maintenance issues that somebody who uses it. I mean, we're talking, there's side concerts in the park, July 3rd. Easter eggs, spooktacular, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We're at 12 to 15
At least-
without
Right.
stretching anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
So, and that's fine, but if, you know, Rosemead only uses it 5 times a year, that's not equivalent to what we're planning on doing.
I think it would be really helpful for the gentleman that rents it out to ask him all these questions, because it would be in his interest to not have us buy one and to rent his all the time. So maybe he'll give us honest answers and more on the, you know, kind of negative side towards owning it. So. I'm gonna lean
That's
on
true,
that.
that's true.
You know, I'm like, hey, we're buy these, oh, don't buy one of these things, they have this and that.
Yeah. Because
the
he,
worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you don't want this.
well, and he wants to rent his out on a
Exactly.
weekly basis,
Yeah.
so he's,
And
yeah,
maybe that is the way, you know, I mean, I don't.
yeah, I think it's, again, it's not that we're against it, I just feel vacuum of information right now that I think we feel like we need. This is a big investment. And we want to
We
do right.
completely agree. That's why we want to start here.
Introduction.
Right.
I definitely like the idea of having our own. I just noticed the hydraulic system is powered by a gas engine too, so we have to check on the maintenance. on it.
Yeah, they're a little Honda,
Generator deal.
they're a little Honda powered pumps and stuff. I do remember looking at that.
Any other questions or comments?
No.
No, children? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
So all the information in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yes, we'll do.
Yeah.
Issue with gauges. I didn't
Good to
feel like.
close that
the
one,
city
you mind,
was
just
such a-
grab a mouse back.
Oh, I'm gonna go down. All right.
Hi, Bob. We can see you again.
Welcome back.
Hello. I have a question. Can you get insurance for them like a car? Against
Oh, that's
theft or
something else to consider.
Yeah, she was talking about
I'm
warranty.
sure everything, yeah, I'll definitely check on the cost of that, yeah,
Interesting.
everything's insured.
Good question.
But,
Thank you, Bob.
thank you.
Ah,
It takes a lawyer to think of that sort of thing.
what can I say?
Okay, the next issue or the next item on our agenda is 5.2, purchase of security cameras.
We haven't talked about this enough. So again, one of the goals that the board set earlier this year was the security of our facilities. We have gone through, updated all of our alarm systems at our facilities that we talked about. We have installed panic buttons at the facilities as well. Haven't had to use them, hope we never have to use them, but is one of the things we talked about here.
We've talked about installing panic buttons. I don't remember that.
I told you, it was more that I told you we
Oh.
were doing it.
When you say at our facilities where.
Like the front desk here has one, at Tot Time, at Skyview, at the gym, if
Okay.
something were to happen, it's it can't be bumped and hit, you've got to 2 fingers, squeeze buttons, but
Okay.
it's a automatic call to the alarm company, which is the notice they get is automatically dispatch sheriff, no questions asked.
Okay.
This morning, somebody set an alarm off the building by mistake and we get a phone call. Is everything okay? Yeah, it's fine. It was an accident. This is no questions asked. And
Okay.
so we met with the Park Maintenance and Safety Committee a couple weeks back and talked about the facilities in which we currently have cameras, the facilities that we're still lacking. If you remember a couple of years back, the board identified kind of our main parks that would need them. One facility that was identified at that time that had not received cameras yet was Rancho Mira Loma. And that's one that we've added to the list here. You know, in looking at it back then, a couple of years back, you know, we identified the major parks, you know, our smaller parks, Shador, Abigail, that are really in a neighborhood that residents are right on them.
we're not experiencing the vandalism and theft of those parks. There still is a sense of security that we don't want residents to think we're looking in their backyards and stuff like that as well. So all the parks are, standalone facilities that we're experiencing moderate to higher levels of vandalism at. So going down the list here, as you're aware, we've already purchased cameras for the exterior of Skyview, the parking lot, Vernola Family Park, as well as the mezzanine area at Vernola Park. This is the addition of 12 cameras inside Skyview, essentially every entrance exit point of the facility, as well as 2 cameras in the large room, just kind of broadcasting out. We were mindful. We don't want guests to feel that we are watching their every move, but at the same point, they need to know they're being watched as well. There's a balancing act there. So that's 12 cameras inside and then 1 on the exterior, a single one looking over the grass area. That's out the main doors there. And there'll be another pod on the back northwest corner of the building, kind of where the driveway is, where the caterers and stuff park. 3 cameras, 1 shooting down to the left, 1 shooting out the driveway, and 1 shooting back at the doorways there, just giving us full coverage of those areas. Rancho Rupa Sports Park, we just added the 12 cameras there. One of the issues that we're having there, I don't know why, but for some reason we've had like 3 high-speed chases with the sheriff department into the soccer park. They tend to go during a soccer game. I think the mentality is if I can get lost in the crowd, come into the parking lot, park it, and jump and run into the crowd. There was a chase on TV the other night. They pulled into a Walmart and tried to run into a Walmart type of thing. So the challenge at the soccer park, as you're all aware, we have to have these trees in the parking lot for Title 22. It has to do with reducing heat coming off the asphalt. The problem with that is it now limits our line of sight. Trees, cameras can't see through trees. There's really no great way to get coverage in the parking lot there at the soccer park. Unless we put in 50, 60 cameras just on the parking lot. That would be just cost prohibitive. But we do have vehicles that get broken into that parking lot somewhat often. So it's a concern. So the idea there is they now have license plate reader cameras, which are designed to focus and get license plates and company notes. These people that are breaking into the vehicles are driving in and driving out. So we would at least be able to identify it and have a license plate that we can check if we need to. And then there'd be a second camera. So those would be focused on each of the entrances. There's a second camera coming off the back of the pod, just looking back at those driveways. Neither the driveways and the approaches coming towards them are blocked by trees. So that's our best opportunities, most affordable options at the soccer park there. Clay Park, honestly, I knock on wood, we installed Clay Park about 4 months ago. The restroom facilities there were getting hit with graffiti and vandalism. Maybe not weekly, but every 10 to 12 days, it seemed like. I don't think we've had one since that installed. We still have some issues down on the basketball courts at Clay Park, which is kind of across the park there. The ability and adding a set of cameras over there on the basketball court. There's some picnic tables and stuff over there. We end up having a lot of incidents at. For some reason, when people like to drive in our park and tear up the grass and do donuts and stuff, they always come in off that corner. I don't know why all 4 corners have basically ramps, from the sidewalks, but they come off of that corner right there for some reason. So hopefully stuff like that would deter these types of things from happening. Veterans Memorial Park by far is the biggest problem we have in the facility when it comes to vandalism, theft, and graffiti. We could talk for hours upon that one. Part of the problem with Veterans Memorial is the way it's a very odd shape of a park. You have the recreation center up front. Right behind it, you have the maintenance shed and then the old pool building. Those 3 buildings alone create a lot of blind corners, blind spots. This is the one facility Riverside County Sheriff has come to us and asked us to add cameras at. For some reason, that Circle K gas station there on Riverview and Mission gets robbed a lot. And they chase the people down Riverbend and through the front of the park. And then they lose them going. We don't know exactly what they look like or where they went. So they talked to us about putting some cameras in the front of the building. Which is obviously a great idea, something that we need. And we're also proposing another set of cameras on the back corner of the building. As you guys are aware, Christmas Day, our staff spent 3-4 hours out there resecuring the building that somebody literally unscrewed to get into overnight. And this would, again, not cover the entire area, but it's going to cover 90% of the area. And that's where a lot of our vandalism, graffiti, and theft takes place at. And then the last one being here is the district office. A total of 16 cameras we're looking at, which would be 6 of them inside the building here, facing again our entry points, one right here above the front desk as somebody comes in. Any person coming in would be on camera. All the back doors to the building as well as there's 2 cameras on the front of the building, one at this corner pointing towards the walkway, on that corner pointing back and give us the coverage on the front of the building. Pod in the parking lot here, this driveway, that driveway, the back side of the building would be covered. And then there's a pod out on one of the light poles to Rick Thompson Arena, which would cover the arena. The RT, the actual building itself, is vandalized to graffiti quite often. Gives coverage on that. And then there's the ability also to have a light over on the baseball fields, for camera on light poles for the baseball fields. The one I skipped over here inadvertently was community center and skate park. This is the very first facility we put the cameras in. Really, at the skate park, as you guys we talked about, we had some issues associated with the skate park. Honestly, it wasn't the skaters itself that were really causing the problems. It was other people that were drawn to the facility. It's one of the reasons our skate park is successful is because it's not necessarily by houses to where it's not causing disturbances and noise issues. But one of the downfalls in our facility is it's not by houses, that there's eyes on it when we're not around. So there was an unwanted element there in the parking lot. As soon as those cameras were put in place, the people that were distributing and selling unwanted products went away. And we're not having those issues now. But we've had problems this past year. We've replaced the windows at JCC in the backside of it twice. People breaking them out. So this would be putting a pod on, again, one of the light poles from RT Arena, but shooting back in the backside of the building and then covering the area in front of the maintenance shop where the catalytic converters were stolen off the van. As well as putting another one on the front corner of the maintenance shop. 3 cameras, good one looking back towards the front big drive door there, one looking down the drive ramp back towards the roll-up doors to the right, and then one shooting out to the parking lot. As you recall, about 3 weeks ago, one of our maintenance staff's vehicles were stolen out of the parking lot during the middle of the day, and just providing better coverage of that facility as a whole. I know this is a lot to take in. But I'm available should you have any questions.
Do you know where we're at as far as vandalism costs this fiscal year?
I could add it up for you, but it is
Just ballpark.
$30,000.
That's a March.
As of, everything combined, but that's 2 sets of windows at JCC that were $4,000 and $5,000 piece. Maybe not quite that much, maybe $5,000 total, I'm sorry. $2,500 a piece. That's the catalytic converters off the van. That's actual stuff we're having to replace. That's not necessarily labor either. I can tell you right now, Saturday morning, while we were trying to get the grand opening ready for Shadow Rock Park, we had a maintenance guy out essentially repainting the snack bar at Memorial Park. It was tagged that much. We got good pictures of them, and the Riverside County set team is working with us to hopefully.
Figure out who did it.
So it doesn't take necessarily to place labor costs. We buy 5-gallon buckets of paint, and we literally leave them at every facility because we know they're going to get used before they go back.
So you would have a ballpark of our graffiti removal cost.
We can add stuff up. We've come up with a formula for it. Certain ones like that, it was such a big one. The staff just knows to we take pictures and we paint it. We don't even wait for the sheriff to come out for that one because it's a 3 or 4 hour paint job and we're waiting for them for an hour or 2 to show up. We want it cleaned up before the residents start coming out. We also want people to see it. We don't want these people to get the satisfaction that their graffiti is being seen by people.
I do have the total of our graffiti from July 1 through now, 39,000, or bandwidth, 39,392.55. Almost 40,000.
9 months.
And that's not including staff time to changes.
No, that's strictly
The physical cost.
That's broken supplies, broken picnic benches, whatever it may be.
So with that, you're talking a 2-year payment or
Less than 2.
less.
Don't get me wrong. These
It's
are
not
not
gonna stop
going
all
to,
of
it's not gonna stop
It's
it.
not gonna stop.
No, it doesn't stop it. We have cameras at Memorial Park at the ball field there. But it has definitely diminished the issues. Clay Park has not been tagged. It's still gonna happen, don't get me wrong, but it's not like it used to be. A lot of what we're seeing is they know the cameras are there. We specifically have those blue LED lights flashing. I want those things to be as bright as possible so that people see them as. If they see there's an opportunity that somebody can catch them, I'm just gonna go somewhere else, There's a chance here, I can go around the corner to wherever, and it's a lesser chance, I hate to say we're pushing it off on somebody else, but it's a lot of money that we're doing in events. And I can tell you the Riverside County sheriffs do use it. So.
Do you also have an idea how many times they use your campus too?
I know because half the time we don't even know that they do, that we met with them. We met with the set team in regards to this, kind of going over plans, just making sure that, they wanted like Rancho Group Sports Park. It was up to them. We'd be putting 60 cameras just on the fields there alone, They're not necessarily looking at the budget aspect of it, You want them on every light pole, looking every single direction, but talking like, we log on, if we get a call that we're going to Memorial Park, we'll look on the camera so we know what we're going into, or he was like, I'll log on to Avalon Park at night just to see what's going on. If there's a car in the parking lot, we'll make our way over. If there's not a car in the parking lot, we don't see people walking around, we don't necessarily head over there. So they are using it.
So the way it works is that they also have access to.
Yeah, it's just it's on the app, same app they have access to it on their app. They don't have the ability to save or delete any videos. That has to come through the app, through the office here. But they can view if they need to, they can look back at, a video from, hour ago, wherever they need to. But there's been a number of times in which we've been called, they've asked for, hey, there was an incident where there was a shooting on the 10 freeway in Montclair. But they knew through something that they were sitting at Riverbend Park an hour before that through the CHP. And they called us, the public records request, and we logged on and said, yeah, we've got them on video sitting there. I guess puffing nitrous oxide is a big thing. And passing the boom around, and they had it on video. And Sheriff, the CHP was like, that's exactly what I need, thank you. So
How they know these things, I don't know, but they are working, they are helping. So, and they don't go in first.
Very good. Are there any other questions? Someone want to make a motion?
Sure. I move the board of directors accept the proposal from Security Lines US for additional security cameras at various parks, the amount not to exceed $71,866.60.
My second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, Colby, you've been talking a lot, but you get to talk some more. General Manager's report.
Definitely want to thank all the board members for coming out this past Saturday. The grand opening of Shadow Rock was great. Well received. Somewhere between 400 and 500 people throughout the day came through there. Everybody was positive. The constructive criticism we did receive on anything was nothing, earth shattering. A lot of it stuff that we can look at or we're already aware of. And we're working on. It's not necessarily related to the park itself. Obviously, people are still requesting the ball field lights, so we're within the next 30 days should be operational. So again, that was a great day. Thank you for everybody that came out. It was very well received. It's been raining a lot, as you guys are aware. That's a great thing for us and our water budgets. The downfall of that is with our youth sports organizations. They've basically been rained out and they're starting to stress because they want to finish by a certain time. And they go into their all-stars and their tournaments and stuff like that. So staff working with them as much as we can to get those facilities up and operational. It looks like games are at this point are all going to happen on Saturday. At this point. So it's supposed to rain tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Our facilities are so saturated right now. Any little water is going to start puddling on them. So we'll see how much we actually get. With the other part of the rain is weeds. Weeds are popping everywhere. We've had staff out on the tractors and sprayers the last couple of days here, spraying everything that we can. Just a reminder for the board, I can't think of the name of the product we use right now, but it is not Roundup. It doesn't have the yes, thank you. That is the cancer causing concern. We do get questions from people when they see us spraying and stuff in the park. So, but it is something that we are aware of and we're mindful of. And staff's trained, they don't spray when people are around. We're trying to do it early mornings and stuff like that. But we're out getting facilities and trying to get it controlled, especially on our trails and stuff like that, where it grows very, very tall. This weekend is our last basketball game of the season. So if you haven't been by, swing by, catch some great play going on at the gym, and we're excited for that. Other than that, like I said, I've been talking a lot tonight. We'll keep it there. But we have a lot of good things going on right now, and staff's getting geared up for the summer season right now.
And board member comments. We'll start with you, Mr. Cabillas.
Yes, it was really nice to be out at Shadow Rock Park for the first time. I didn't get a chance to take a tour before then. It was nice to see everyone there, everyone having a good time. Our staff, of course, was, making it fun for all the residents and for all the people from outside that area that are welcome there too. It's open to everyone. Just want to reiterate with that. And I look forward to our next event. That's Park Night, right?
Park Night next week, and then the spring fling back on the 1st.
Thank you.
Next, Ms. Byrne.
I guess I too enjoyed it thoroughly. My grandboys thoroughly love that. Not a get on and I said, oh, not no. But I have been advertising it throughout my neighborhood. We really met with a lot of the organizations were there. They seem like one giant club, whether it be the Lions, ourselves, and Rotary. So we all seem to be a happy family, and that's good. So thank you to staff for their hot dog making and the like. They have the patience of gold. There's no questions. Thank you. We had a good time.
Mr. Leach.
I was saying to everybody else, it was great being at the opening of the park. I thought the park itself looked fantastic. A lot of the little spots that we'd seen in the lawns and different things were corrected. Just everything looked great and that families were enjoying themselves. Still think we need to get on the city about a crosswalk. Too many people going with cars zipping by.
Yeah, that discussion today.
Expect something on that next time we meet. But yeah, it was great. And I look forward to future events. Hopefully Market Night will not get winded out as it usually does.
Yeah. Are you done,
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yeah, the same as was the other members have said, very proud of the district and all the work that went to the park and for us to finally realize it and open it to the public. And it's been in the works for quite a long time, even before I was here. So yeah, want to give my props to all the staff and everyone who played a role in getting it to this point. I think it's a jewel of the city, a staple of JRPD. And yeah, and the event, in terms of the event itself, it went really well, it went smoothly. The letters look great. So I saw a lot of members, a lot of people were taking pictures, well, a lot of mascots. So it went well. So I'll send my thanks to you all and to all the other staff that played a role.
Got it.
That's it.
Of course, yes, I was at Shadow Rock as well. I really want to congratulate the landscape architect from Lennar who designed that park because I think they did a fantastic job. And I also am happy with Mr. DeGuid and ourselves because we held Lennar's feet to the fire when they wanted to change some fairly major things at that park. And we said no. And because of that, we got a great park. The residents there have a great park and the whole district has a great park. And it was great. I put some pictures up on my Facebook and the next day I had a comment from a young woman who school with my daughter. She has 2 little kids and she went there on Sunday and said what a fantastic park it was. So it's really great to hear those kinds of things. I also want to thank Councilwoman Altamirano and Mayor Barajas for coming to the event, Director Treva from RCSD. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody.
I believe we also had, Robert.
Oh, that's right. Board member Garcia from the school board was there. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. And I talked to him too. And it's just nice to see those kinds of people out there supporting us, our events like that. And yeah, that's all I have comment on.
If I could add one little quick thing here that came to mind yesterday. I've been with the district now almost 7 years. And this is the first time since I have been here, we do not have an active construction project going.
Wow.
We've always had a park in development or one of our park projects going since I started. So
Woo. For a moment.
for a moment, we got a couple things to be starting probably later this year, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Okay, as you can see, there are committee reports attached to our packet, a committee report concerning the budget and personnel meeting. There's also future committee meetings this coming week. And our next board meeting will be March 23rd at 6:30 here and another one on April 13th. And tonight, sorry, I just need to pull my notes up for myself. I'm sorry, I meant to do that earlier. Tonight, in our adjournment, I would like to mention that a longtime member of our community recently passed away. Judy Lynch was the wife of former JARPD board member Dick Lynch. She was a beloved wife, mother, and grandmother, and a retired Ruby Unified School District teacher who taught at Rustic Lane. On behalf of JARPD, I would like to offer sincere condolences to Dick and his family, and I would like to adjourn the meeting tonight in Judy's memory. And we are adjourned at what time?
34.
At 7:34. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Good night, Bob.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Hope you don't have too much rain.
Yeah, hope it stays with you.
It's coming down.
I think we'll talk tomorrow about my phone call with you today.
Very good. And I'll send the email we talked about.
Awesome, thank you.
All right.